Andy, we are going to Royal Portrush this week. The host, 6-year turnaround, really fast since 2019. Feels as suitable as any to host an Open Championship, to host a major championship. The crowds are enormous, but this has really emerged, and we're kind of fortunate to have it back in sort of the public limelight. We got to play it last March on a tour of Northern Ireland, made kind of immediate and lasting impressions on our team at Friday Golf, and now we get to see it on television. It's really sort of a blessing, and what about it kind of jumps off the page to you that makes it so good beyond its reputation?
Well, it's amazing that this venue has kind of like re-entered the limelight in the 2000s, right? Obviously, it hosted one major, one Open Championship before 2019. This golf course is just a blend of supreme topography, as good of land as you could find for a golf course, a sublime setting right there on the ocean, and then intricate golf design. I think the uniqueness of Royal Portrush is that it was built in the 1920s. This was at the height of the golden age of golf course architecture, and it was built by, he's not well known in America, but you can make an argument that Harry Colt, the architect of Royal Portrush, is the greatest golf architect of all time. So you put those together, and it is just an amazing test. I think the biggest thing that stands out besides the natural elements of it, are the green complexes. They are very sophisticated. They have sharp runoffs. There's steep penalty for misses, and I think that's where it exacts a little bit more of a penalty for missed approach shots than a lot of links courses, a lot of its counterparts on the Rota. What stands out for you being on the ground this week?
I mean, the one thing for me is always just the variety of dunes, right? The variety of elevation change. We heard both Scotty and Rory Scotty and Rahm talk about that on Tuesday, like contrasting Ireland with sort of the dunes courses they're used to in Scotland and other parts of the UK. And you really, even to the point where Rahm says, I'm hitting balls maybe high in the air to climb, was on that initial climb, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 as you ascend to the top of the course. Talking about how I haven't played a links course where I could stand on a tee box and see the entire course. And you're talking about the fifth tee, that majestic view down the coastline and across the property. For me, it's just getting back on the ground, and you could walk the old course and there's like these incredible humps and bumps that stand out in sort of the lawn light. But here it's just it's like you couldn't, you're doing the moguls, right? In the Olympics, like you could just bomb up and down, and then you have the massive dune on like sort of the exterior of that course. It's just, for me, you're so used to links courses just having sort of subtle rolling humps and bumps to the sea, and this is just, it's got the turf with all the modern construction you talked about, the greens and the drop shots and the elevation changes. And for me, it's just the total package that stands out and sets it apart from other links settings. I also will say, like, it is different. The Irish links are different from turf-wise. From a lot of the what they played last week, Renaissance. All the players keep remarking, like, I can't believe how green it is. That doesn't mean it's soft. It's just green. I talked to the groundskeeper today. He said, these are the best fescue greens he's ever seen. Someone who's been all over the world greenkeeping. He said, these are the best fescue greens I've ever seen. And so there is a little bit of color. It has the links turf, and they're adjusting, obviously, the elevation change off of Scotland last week.
Yeah. It's the neat thing too is the town, the iconic dune. Obviously, Seventh plays along, and how you can see that dune and the beach from town, connectivity almost to the beach and town. Let's get into some of our favorite holes. We each picked 2. I'll get us started. This is going to be a hole that's a lot of catnip about this hole, but it is thrilling. It is fun. It is dramatic. It is beautiful. This hole checks off every box. This is a short par 4 fifth hole. You heard a lot of players talk about this in their press conference. This is going to produce a wide range of scores. So the fifth, it kind of plays on a diagonal. It's a very fascinating hole. It's drivable. You could get home with the big dog. Go for it. Maybe even 3-wood, depending on the on the wind. So you got to kind of, what is unique is how it's set on this diagonal. You have to pick your line. If you pick a line and you kind of bail out left, you could run through the fairway into the fescue, or you can just go with like the standard layup shot and leave yourself with a wedge into the green. What's probably unique most about the green is that it abuts that giant dune. I mean, if you go long here, you are out of bounds. You are going over and you are tumbling down onto the beach. The green is set right up on the edge. I mean, it is as close as you can get to the ocean on this golf course. One of the unique things about the green too is there's kind of a knob. That knob is on the left side. You can see it on the screen there on the right. That can kind of funnel balls that are going toward that left side of the green back into the middle and close to a back pin, or it can shed balls away, which leaves like a very awkward approach. I'm really going to be interested to see what the breakdown is of players that go for it versus players that just kind of hit the safe shot and lay back, because like, if you go for it, hit it long, I mean, you're bringing a double into play. If you go for it and find a bad spot, like, you're going to have to play very conservative because of that out of bounds line right on the back of the green.
Yeah, it really, it's probably it's the signature hole, but it feels sort of disrespectful to the course to say there's a signature hole out there. And
I mean, 16's out there too.
It's up there. So we had to pick. We limited it to 4. I went with 10 to kind of give a little publicity to the middle of the course. Like 4, 5, 6 is going to get a lot of the pictures. We got 16, the back stretch, really 14 through 17. You have 2 of like the greatest stretches in all of golf. You said on our podcast, our preview show, Shotgun Start, that you think the tournament might be won and lost based on scoring here in the middle section, 9 to 14. I'm going to go with 10 just to give it a little love here in the middle, like a dramatic, awesome dogleg from left to right. It's 450 yards. For me, what I love about this hole is it feels like if you hit the shots, you can make a birdie, right? If you can play, if you are controlling your ball, you can make a 3. And what I love about it most is it sort of showcases the Colt routing where you were just out at the sea at number 5, and then you come back to sort of the internal choppy dunes. And for me, this is the best right here. It's the best illustration of like just a natural hazard. This is what the land had here. It's this incredible chop right in the middle of the course, and the hole is routed around it. And you can't carry it. You're not sending it over the dog leg out of fear of landing in this chop. And that's what I love about 10. It sort of showcases the variety of dunes with that chop and a green that sits low, right? We saw this is where Shane Lowry really made his bacon in 2019 with chopping it out of the left rough and running the ball into this bowl or lower lying green off the hump of the left side. So just so much going on here that I love, and just wanted to show some love to the middle of the course.
Neat green, really neat green.
Yeah.
One of the most fun. I think like if you said like with the, one of my markers of a great green is like, which green would you want in your backyard? That might be one of them that you would pick. Because
Good
it's
point.
just got like all these little pockets. It kind of sits down in a bowl. It's receptive in areas, but it also has these different pockets that are really hard to get to. Overall, it's fairly receptive, but to get to certain little areas of the green, you have to be very precise, and then it leaves some really tough 2 putts if you get in the wrong areas. For my second hole, 15 is one of the most dramatic holes on the course. 16 is, you're going to hear a ton about 16, the par 3, and you're going to hear from Brendan about 16. And 17 is an amazing hole too. But to me, probably the most demanding hole on the way in is the 14th. It's a 470-yard par 4, and it has this tiny tabletop green. It is as hard of a second shot as you will find at Royal Portrush. And I think this hole, you're going to see a wide variance of scores. This is a hole that is going to determine the championship coming down the stretch on Sunday because of just the severity of that green. As you can see, it sheds in all directions. The left side of that green is just that it just ships you down. You'll end up way below the putting surface and with a very, very challenging up and down. Just the drive is not easy either. It is a fairly narrow tee shot, and obviously with just the nature of it being 470 yards, depending on the wind, if it's playing into the wind, you're going to be hitting a very long approach shot into this tiny, very taxing green that kind of repels in all directions. So the 14th to me is probably one of the holes. It's not going to get a lot of love. Nobody's going to really like talk about the 14th and it's one of the great holes at Portrush, but this is one of the holes that is going to determine the championship. And it's a hole that separates. Like, this is a golf hole that separates those that are playing really well from those that are maybe scraping around a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching the practice round. A lot of boys. That bunker was very crowded. Just guys throwing 3, 4, 5 balls, hitting bunker shots out of that bunker because, I mean, it's like a sink drain, right? Just pulling the ball down into doom from the if you miss your spot and get too far left on that green. Super cool. It's contrasting to 10, right? A green that's up, right? As opposed to 10, you were talking about feeding it around. We'll close it out with my second hole, the aforementioned 16th, nicknamed Calamity Corner, one of the greatest par threes in the world. Ranges in length, but it's a lawn. It's a lawn burly boy. Shane Lowry hit a 4-iron here to make an incredible birdie on the way in 2019. They have it listed as 236 yards. Obviously depends on wind. You can bail left, but then you're kind of terrified about, your second chip or chop onto the green. And I would say, I haven't seen every golf course in the world. I'm just wondering how is this the par 3 with the most natural, breathtaking asset, the most unique asset that's not on the ocean? You might see one today that has an incredible natural asset working with it, but I think this might be a fellow 16th. I think I was trying to think of other par 3s that aren't on the ocean that have this incredible a natural asset or a breathtaking setting. Are there others you would throw out there with that valley that we see right there in the shadows? It's just remarkable to be there.
Off the top of my mind, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like this, it acts as an ocean. I think that's the highest praise. Is that hazard acts, it scares you like an ocean, because the last thing, it's almost worse because you have to climb down 60 feet down to hit your shot and then climb back up. I think I'm not going to reveal one of us experienced going down and having to hit the shot back up. I think like what's fascinating about this hole is like if you bail left, you get over there and you don't like where you are. And in this era of guys taking very conservative lines, everybody playing very conservatively, is there a calculus of where this line and where people aim? I think it's pretty safe to say everybody in this field is aiming at the left edge of the green. But if you miss left a couple times and say you make bogey the first 2 days from left, on Saturday, are you starting to shift that right a little bit and saying, I can't get over left? You get in these moments, and I think like what you want is you want a hole coming down the stretch where somebody has to do something miraculous. So if I'm 2 back and I'm heading down the stretch, I all of a sudden have to take on that giant gorge, we'll call it, the giant drop off. And I have to hit the shot with a 240-yard club with lumber, one of the hardest shots in the game. And I think that's what's amazing about this hole is that the theater of it only ratchets up as the tournament goes on.
Yep. Well, those are I don't want to say top 4 holes, but 4 holes to watch. 4 holes we're intrigued to see. You could kind of go 1 through 18. We could take a full hour here. We've done it on our YouTube page for sure, more in depth, but it feels like picking your favorite child.